Hello fellow nerds. Today I am going to read from the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. The first monster mentioned is called the Aarakocra. Aarakocra ranged the howling Gaia, an endless storm of mighty winds and lashing rains that surrounds the tranquil realm of Aka in the elemental plane of air. Making aerial patrols, these bird-like humanoids guard the windy borders of their home against invaders from the elemental plane of earth, such as gargoyles, their sworn enemies. In service to the Wind Dukes of Aka, Aarakocra scout the plains in search of temples of elemental evil. They spy on malign elemental creatures and then either take the fight to those creatures or report back to the Wind Dukes. On the material plane, Aarakocra create aeries atop the highest mountains, especially peaks near portals to the elemental plane of air. From such heights, Aarakocra watch for signs of elemental incursions as well as for nascent threats to their home plane. Aarakocra prefer to live their lives like the wind, unburdened and ever-moving. Yet they watch over a region for years if that's what it takes to guard against the incursions of elemental evil. Aarakocra have no concept of political borders or property ownership, and the value of gems, gold, and other precious materials means little to Aarakocra. In their eyes, a creature should use what is necessary and then cast what is left on the wind for others to use. The Wind Dukes of Aka come from a race of elemental beings called the Vati, which once ruled many worlds. A creature known as the Queen of Chaos arose and initiated an interplanar war against Vati rule. To combat the threat, 7 Vati heroes combined their powers to create the mighty Rod of Law. In a battle against the Queen's greatest general, Mishka the Wolf Spider, a Vati killed Mishka by thrusting the rod into him like a spear. The rod shattered into 7 shards that scattered across the multiverse. Aarakocra seeks signs of the piece's location in order to rebuild what is now known as the Rod of 7 Parts. Having a look at the stat block, we learn that it is a humanoid of medium size. Its alignment is neutral good. Its armor class is 12. It has an average of 13 hit points or 3d8. Its speed when walking is 20 feet, but when flying it is 50 feet. It has a strength of 10 with a modifier of 0. Its dexterity is 14 with a modifier of 2. Its constitution is also 10 with a modifier of 0. intelligence is 11 with a modifier of 0. Its wisdom is 12 with a modifier plus 1. Its charisma is 11 with a modifier of 0. It gains plus 5 on perception and has a passive perception of 15. Aarakocra know the dive attack. If the Aarakocra is flying and dives at least 30 feet straight towards a target and then hits it with a melee weapon, the attack deals an extra 3 or 1d6 damage to the target. It has the following 2 actions. Talon, a melee weapon attack, plus 4 to hit. It has a reach of 5 feet and can hit 1 target. When hit, it deals 4 or 1d4 plus 2 slashing damage. Javelin, a melee or ranged weapon attack, plus 4 to hit with a reach of 5 feet. Or, when used as a ranged weapon, 30, 120 feet, it can hit 1 target. When hit, it deals 5 or 1d6 plus 2 piercing damage. The Aarakocra can summon air elementals. 5 Aarakocra within 30 feet of each other can magically summon an air elemental. Each of the 5 must use its action and movement on 3 consecutive turns to perform an aerial dance and must maintain concentration while doing so, as if concentrating on a spell. When all 5 have finished their 3rd turn of the dance, the elemental appears in an unoccupied space within 60 feet of them. It is friendly towards them and obeys their spoken commands. It remains for 1 hour until it or all its summoners die, or until any of its summoners dismisses it as a bonus action. A summoner can't perform the dance again until it finishes a short rest. When the elemental returns to the elemental plane of air, any Aarakocra within 5 feet of it can return with it. The next monster is called Aboleth. Aboleth. Before the coming of the gods, Aboleth lurked in the primordial oceans and underground lakes. They reached out with their minds and seized control of the burgeoning life forms of the mortal realm, making those creatures their slaves. Their dominance made them like gods. Then the true gods appeared, smashing the Aboleth Empire and freeing their slaves. Aboleth have never forgotten. Aboleth have flawless memories. They pass on their knowledge and experience from generation to generation. Thus, the injury of their defeat by the gods remains perfectly preserved in their minds. Their minds are a treasure trove of ancient lore, recalling moments from prehistory with perfect clarity. They plot patiently and intricately across eons. Few creatures can conceive of the extent of an Aboleth plan. They dwell in watery environments, including ocean abysses, deep lakes, and the elemental plane of water. In these domains and the lands that adjoin them, Aboleth are like gods, demanding worship and obedience from their subjects. When they consume other creatures, they add the knowledge and experiences of their prey to their eternal memories. They use their telepathic powers to read the minds of creatures and know their desires. An Aboleth uses this knowledge to gain a creature's loyalty, promising to fulfill such wants in exchange for obedience. Within its lair, the Aboleth can further use its powers to override senses, granting creatures such as its followers the illusion of promised rewards. Their fall from power is written in stark clarity on their flawless memories, for Aboleth never truly die. If an Aboleth's body is destroyed, its spirit returns to the elemental plane of water, where a new body coalesces for it over days or months. Ultimately, they dream of overthrowing the gods and regaining control of the world. Aboleth have had untold eons to plot and to prepare their plans for perfect execution. Aboleth's lair in subterranean lakes or the rocky depths of the ocean, often surrounded by the ruins of an ancient, fallen Aboleth city. An Aboleth spends most of its existence underwater, surfacing occasionally to treat with visitors or deranged worshippers. When fighting inside its lair, an Aboleth can invoke the ambient magic to take lair actions. On initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, the Aboleth takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects. The Aboleth casts Phantasmal Force, no components required, on any number of creatures it can see within 60 feet of it. While maintaining concentration on this effect, it can't take other lair actions. If a target succeeds on the saving throw, or if the effect ends for it, the target is immune to the Aboleth's Phantasmal Force lair action for the next 24 hours, although such a creature can choose to be affected. Pools of water within 90 feet of the Aboleth surge outward in a grasping tide. Any creature on the ground within 20 feet of such a pool must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw or be pulled up to 20 feet into the water and knocked prone. The Aboleth can't use this lair action again until it has used a different one. Lastly, water in the Aboleth's lair magically becomes a conduit for the creature's rage. The Aboleth can target any number of creatures it can see in such water within 90 feet of it. A target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or take 7 or 2d6 psychic damage. The Aboleth can't use this lair action again until it has used a different one. Regional effects. The region containing an Aboleth lair is warped by the creature's presence, which creates one or more of the following effects. Underground surfaces within 1 mile of the Aboleth lair are slimy and wet and are difficult terrain. Water sources within 1 mile of the lair are supernaturally fouled. Enemies of the Aboleth that drink such water vomit it within minutes. As an action, the Aboleth can create an illusory image of itself within 1 mile of the lair. The copy can appear at any location the Aboleth has seen before or in any location a creature charmed by it can currently see. Once created, the image lasts for as long as the Aboleth maintains concentration, as if concentrating on a spell. Although the image is intangible, it looks, sounds, and can move like the actual creature. The Aboleth can sense, speak, and use telepathy from the image's position as if present at that position. If the image takes any damage, it disappears. If the Aboleth dies, the first 2 effects fade over the course of 3d10 days. Now, the stat block. The Aboleth is a large aberration, and its alignment is lawful evil. Its armor class is 17 with a natural armor. It has 135 hit points or 18 d10 plus 36. Its speed on land is 10 feet and 40 feet when swimming. Its strength is 21 with a modifier plus 5. Its dexterity is 9 with a modifier minus 1. Its constitution is 15 with a modifier plus 2. Its intelligence is 18 plus 4. Its wisdom is 15 plus 2, and its charisma is an 18 with a modifier plus 4. It makes saving throws, constitution plus 6, intelligence plus 8, and wisdom plus 6. It is skilled in history plus 12, and perception plus 10. It has 120 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 20. It speaks speech and can use telepathy within 120 feet. It is amphibious. It can breathe air and water. Mucus cloud. While underwater, the Aboleth is surrounded by transformative mucus. A creature that touches the Aboleth or that hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet of it must make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the creature is diseased for 1d4 hours. The diseased creature can breathe only underwater. Probing telepathy. If a creature communicates telepathically with the Aboleth learns the creature's greatest desires if the Aboleth can see the creature. It has the following actions. Multi-attack. The Aboleth makes 3 tentacle attacks. Tentacle, melee weapon attack, +9 to hit with a reach of 10 feet, 1 target only. When hit, it causes 12 or 2d6 +5 bludgeoning damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or become diseased. The disease has no effect for 1 minute and can be removed by any magic that cures disease. After 1 minute, the diseased creature's skin becomes translucent and slimy. The creature can't regain hit points unless it is underwater, and the disease can be removed only by heal or another disease-curing spell of 6th level or higher. When the creature is outside a body of water, it takes 6 or 1d12 acid damage every 10 minutes unless moisture is applied to the skin before 10 minutes have passed. Tail, melee weapon attack, +9 to hit with a reach of 10 feet, 1 target. When hit, it deals 15 or 3d6 +5 bludgeoning damage. Enslave, 3 per day. The Aboleth targets 1 creature it can see within 30 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed by the Aboleth until the Aboleth dies or until it is on a different plane of existence from the target. The charmed target is under the Aboleth's control and can't take reactions, and the Aboleth and the target can communicate telepathically with each other over any distance. Whenever the charmed target takes damage, the target can repeat the saving throw. On a success, the effect ends. No more than once every 24 hours. The target can also repeat the saving throw when it is at least 1 mile away from the Aboleth. Legendary actions. The Aboleth can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only 1 legendary action option can be used at a time and only at the end of another creature's turn. The Aboleth regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. Detect. The Aboleth makes a wisdom perception check. Tail Swipe. The Aboleth makes 1 tail attack. Psychic Drain. Costs 2 actions. One creature charmed by the Aboleth takes 10 or 3d6 psychic damage, and the Aboleth regains hit points equal to the damage the creature takes.